Okay, hi everyone. Very warm welcome to this exclusive LinkedIn live session. My name is Jerry from People Matters, and it's great to have you all join us here today. So, today's conversation is part of a week that's called Building a Skills First Organization. And this is a week that we're curating along with Skillsoft. And our goal is to really help organizations reflect on the change that's really underway in our skilling strategies and to really define some strategic practices for businesses to help them thrive. So, our session for today is on human plus AI in learning. And we're going to reflect on what the augmented L&D roadmap is going to look like. So we're really living at a time where there is so much transformation in learning and skill acquisition, right? And there's a paradigm shift with what AI brings to the table. And companies really need to think about what do we mean by skill enhancement. We need to think about what is the indispensable role that humans can bring as a skill, and we need to really interact both of these systems for us to deliver quality, value, and efficiency for the enterprise, right? So this session, we're really curating with a bunch of experts, and we'll hear from them firsthand on how they are thinking about some of the priorities on the human plus AI in learning. So, with that, let me introduce our speakers for today. We have with us Kalpak Hudar, who is the India and ANZ head for Found Ever, and he has a career spanning over 25 years in integrating enterprise technologies with HR strategies and business processes, and streamlining talent management functions and bringing HR transformation on global platforms. And it's great to have you with us, Kalpak, here today.
Same here. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great. We also have with us Lekha Palakot, who is the Director for Learning and Development at Brilio, and she's a highly versatile and results-driven leader with over 20 years of experience in championing learning and development strategies, facilitating long-range planning to ensure timely delivery of services. Great to have you with us, Lekha. Okay, I think Lekha was on mute there, but we heard the thank you. All right,
Thank you. Absolutely. Happy to be here.
wonderful. We also have with us Pradnya Arun, who is the Program Director for Learning Technologies at Aditya Birla Group, and she is a business leader with over 17 years of experience in HR technology, learning technology specifically, driving continuous learning and skill development, and learning formats that really look at both traditional e-learning, blended learning, and flipped classrooms, and a range of self-directed learning as well. Great to have you with us, Pradanya.
Thank you, Jerry.
To moderate this discussion, we have with us Rachna Shah, who is the head of customer success at Skillsoft. And she comes with over 21 years of leadership and management experience in customer success in L&D. And as a business leader, she has a proven track record in transforming business operations and increasing customer satisfaction. And she has a range of experience of working with global clients across different sectors. And she really, her career really encompasses the diverse organization environments, including some startups, large enterprises, and SaaS companies. Great to have you with us, Rachna, here today.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you.
All right, so great. So before I hand it over to Rachna to moderate this discussion, I wanted to just make an announcement to our audience. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, reflections, you can share it at any time during the discussion, and we will take it to the end of the session. So feel free to use the chat window to share your thoughts, comments, and reflections, and we'll look at it closely. Yeah. All right. With that, I'll hand it over to you, Rachna.
Thank you, Jerry. And hello, everyone, and welcome to our LinkedIn live session on human and AI in learning, the augmented L&D roadmap. And I'm really thrilled to be here with all of you today, especially with such an exciting topic that blends the best of human ingenuity and cutting-edge technology. So let's start with a fun question. How many of you remember your favorite teacher from school? the one who made learning really fun and engaging. Now imagine if that teacher had a superpower, the ability to instantly understand your learning needs, to adapt lessons on the fly, and provide personalized feedback 24 by 7. It does sound like a dream, right? So today we are talking about turning that dream into reality. Thanks to the advancements in artificial intelligence, our L&D programs are also getting a serious upgrade. You can think of it as a turbo boost for your brain, right? No, I'm not talking about robots taking over, but AI can complement our human skills to create more effective, personalized, and engaging learning experiences. Now, you might be wondering what exactly is this augmented part of the L&D roadmap. So imagine your traditional learning path as a road trip, right? You've got your trusted map, you've got some snacks, you've got a vague idea of where you are headed. Now, adding AI into the mix is like upgrading from a paper map to a GPS with real time traffic updates, personalized restaurant recommendations, and even a playlist that matches your mood. It's about enhancing the journey, making it more efficient, enjoyable, and tailored to your specific needs. At Skillsoft, we have incorporated AI into our Precipio platform in a variety of ways. There are certain innovations we are doing on the learner side of things. For example, we have an AI simulator, Cassie, which learners can use to practice difficult conversations. Cassie also provides them with a safe space to practice and receive real time personalized feedback across a variety of scenarios. The AI simulator can even enact different behaviors like humans, like random or dismissive or defensive. We also use AI to personalize learning for each user based on their profile or their role or their search history, and it recommends content which is relevant to each user. Learners can also take a skill benchmark assessment in Percipio to assess what are their current skill gaps and where they are against the benchmarks. And once again, we use AI to show very personalized learning paths based on the score that the learner gets in their skill benchmark assessment. We also use AI to improve overall, a learner's search and discovery, making it easier for learners to find what they need. And on the administrative side of things, we use AI to generate new content as per very specific or unique needs, curation of learning paths. So, as we dive into today's discussion, let's keep in mind that the goal is to harness the strengths of humans, which is creativity, which is empathy, which is judgment, and AI to create learning experiences that are personalized, more adaptive, and ultimately more human. So, without further ado, let's get started. And I want to kick off things with the first question to my esteemed panelists. How do you see AI transforming the traditional L&D landscape? And how are you integrating AI into L&D strategies within your respective organizations? And Kalpak, maybe I can start with you.
Sure, thanks. Very interesting question, though. You know, first of all, to my mind, it comes that, whenever you talk about AI, or for that matter, any newer technology that's coming into the play, the use of technology or a machine has to drive efficiency and productivity. That's understood by everyone, right? Uh, when you use the word traditional learning and development, I think the AI, or for that matter, other technology that are coming along with AI, are going to impact or benefit it in two ways. Number one, it's making it more accessible, right? Second biggest important thing is it's making the whole process very efficient, extremely efficient, because I mean, if I have to use the right analogy, it's like limited to unlimited, one to one, or one to a limited group, to one to multiple people without limits. So you're exponentially growing your reach, you're exponentially growing your access to information, and you're making it very personalized, because these technologies can help understand individual needs in different manner, and you could at the same time deliver the content to people in different places, different time zones, different geographies, with individual focus on it. So I think that's where the fundamentally it's going to change the dynamics for all of us. The whole content process, the creating content, developing the content itself, is going to be facing a lot of change with AI and ML coming in. Obviously, with the pace and more information coming in our way, it's going to be more useful. The content is going to be more richer, faster, and quicker. And the last piece is, which is not the least, any learning intervention or any development intervention, if you see today, the cycle is very long. And if I have to use the traditional means of learning, the cycle is very long. You create a content, you deliver the content, and then you wait for take a feedback or wait to see the results coming in. And then the whole process is very manual. When you are infusing technology in the whole process, your data availability and analytics around, what did you present, how was it received, how people take it, how the learner imbibed it, and how the learner is using that learning into the workplace or wherever they want to or plan to use. It's quick. You're going to get it in no time. So I think it's making the traditional learning framework more efficient, more productive, and probably more accessible and faster for people to grasp. So that's how I see how these technologies are going to influence the whole learning landscape.
Yeah, some great points there, Kalpak. I love the first point you made about content reaching to the learner where the learner is and not the other way around, and also
Correct.
shortening the cycle from delivery, planning, execution to also measurement. So great points there. Lekha, what are your thoughts on this? We would love to hear from you. What you are doing at Brilio.
Thanks, Rashna, for that question. And I think I agree to Kalpak what he said. It's an interesting question, and it's a very deep question, right? So I'll probably give you a little bit of story, right? Now, what is expected out of us, Rashna, as an L&D professional, right? There are two stakeholders for us. One is the organization, and the other one is the employee. Now, for organizations to keep themselves ahead of the curve, skilling is their priority. Employee skilling is their priority. So they upskill, cross skill, whatever kind of skilling, right, to improve performance, improve productivity, improve employee engagement, retention, all of this to actually enhance the customer success or customer satisfaction. So that's one part of the equation. The second part of the equation, if you look at it from an employee standpoint, they also require skilling, right? Skilling of themselves. And that is to ensure that there is a professional growth for themselves, right? So when we look at it from a skilling perspective, right, be it your traditional learning and development or even the contemporary today, what we're talking about, nothing has changed. The expectation still remained the same, right? 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the expectation from L&D was the same. But what has changed is, if I may call it as, maybe one or two things, the volume of expectations has increased. The pace at which these expectations hit us has increased. And the most important thing is the nuances of those expectations have changed, right? I come from an IT industry, so I'll take a quick example of that. And the example is maybe 3 years ago or 5 years ago, I could run a Python program, put 25 people inside the classroom and say, hey, Python training is done in 10 days, right? Today, that is not allowed. People would shout at me if I do something like that, both the organization
Yeah.
and the employees, right? They would say, I am from infrastructure team, so I need Python for that. I am from
Yes.
data team, so I need Python for that. I am from product engineering, so I need Python. Now that's one flavor to it. The second flavor to it is I am at the beginner level, so give me that. I'm at an intermediate level, give me that. I am at research level, right? Give me that. So there are
Right.
so many flavors, so many nuances to these demands or these expectations which has come to us. So as an L&D, I think that is what we are trying to manage today, right? And I think the AI has just happened at the right time, savior for us, thank God, right? With all the technologies which AI is bringing today, and I would completely agree to Kalpak what he said. It starts with identification of skill gaps, right? Whether we are doing it for the employee's current role, employee's future role, what is
Yeah.
business pipeline, what are the skills required. So all these things are potentially AI is capable of doing it. Once you identify the skill gap, the next one is of course identifying the personalized journey. So irrespective of whether you are an intermediate or a beginner or an expert or an infrastructure guy, we have platforms who would enable you identify the skill gaps, enable the right learnings for that person, right? We use those platforms in Brilio to ensure that the learnings are aligned to employees. We use AI to create content. So specifically in Brilio, while Python languages, all those things are important, we also function in multiple domains, Rachna, right? So healthcare, life sciences, retail, commerce, e-commerce, all of those are different domains. So a person coding in Python, working in healthcare, he needs to understand the nuances of what he's coding much better than the person who's in maybe insurance, right? Because the impact of what he's coding is much bigger in
Yes.
healthcare or life sciences, right? So we do domain content, and AI is absolutely enabling us to create content in whatever way we need to have content, right? And I think you also spoke about a safe environment to come back and practice. We have AI coach mentors, a safe environment where it is a simulated environment for learners. So I mean, it's a package, it's a gamut of things which AI is brought to us, and I think integration of AI technologies into L&D is just opened up an opportunity to, if I consolidate all of those things, I would say elevate learners' engagement, right?
Yeah.
Which in turn boosts the knowledge retention, increasing the organization's performance. And if I bundle all of these things on the left hand side, the equation on the right hand side is my customer satisfaction goes up, which is basically, where we are as an organization is heading to. So I think that's how I would define AI transforming L&D, Rachna.
Thank you. Thank you for those great points, Dekha. You all, again, I love the some of the points you made around an AI simulator, or a safe place for people to practice their skills,
Right.
and that's where again the Skillsoft Casey can also help. But Pradnya, happy to hear your thoughts on how you are seeing AI transforming the L&D landscape at EBG.
Sure, Rashna. I think Lekha and Kalpak has wonderfully put it all together, but I'll just try to add my bits to it. I think what Lekha said, the crux of L&D team remains same, which is upskilling, reskilling, and cross-skilling. And to Kalpak's point, to generate the productivity is the key. According to me, I think how AI is transforming the traditional way of learning to the contemporary. AI is helping to blur the line in the different methodologies which we use. There were days when we used to rely on huge set of calendars that these are the calendars which will get rolled out on a particular date, B particular day sort of. Then there was an era of e-learning when we used to say let's mandate this set of training to drive productivity. Let's not mandate this training. Let's drive n number of hours. I think gone are those days now. The line in the way people are learning has completely blurred. What comes to the center is how people are upskilling, reskilling, or cross skilling themselves. So AI in a way is there, but has kind of become like a Mr. India in our lives. And when I say in our lives, I wear the hat of, say, for example, a designer, a person who is kind of designing the course. This Mr. India in the form of AI is there to help you actually design the curriculum or design a course. And which we used to sit and read so many things and then put a curriculum or an outline. There are many things in the form of course builder or in the form of content creators which are there available. We can leverage that and create curriculum within a flip of few seconds, and you guys are doing a fab job there. I feel the content companies there. Then when we come to learner, I think learner earlier were the days when it was classroom. You were just listening to the faculty, or you were having conversations. At least there you were available live. Then when came the digital learning era, you were just reading it. There was no cross connection as such. But there are various chatbots which are coming. If my engineer who is sitting in Renukut is learning about empathy, if that engineer says, "Hey, listen, I don't know why are you talking empathy to me? I am an engineer." I think now the digital learning has elevated to that level wherein it can say, empathy can be connected to you so and so way. You can use it in your job too. So I think it is from the content. It is becoming very contextualized when it comes to learner. And the last but not the least, who is the admin who struggles a lot to get all these things together. I think for that also AI is not only just creating the dashboard, but it is helping admin to help people to take that data driven decisions. To sum it up, I feel AI is there in everyone's life. It's just in the form of the air or in the form of the transparent object which is there for all of us, and it is playing a very crucial role, and it is just blurring the way we learn things. It's like you say love has no language. I feel AI has no language.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great one, Pratnya. Thank you so much. All right. Now, I think when we talk about any kind of transformation, and we saw digital transformation a couple of years back. Whenever we are talking about any kind of transformation, we can't ignore the difficult part of it, right? The challenges or the barriers. So, I think my next question is to you first, Kalpak. In if you can share, any challenges or barriers that organizations might face when implementing AI in their L&D programs, and if you can suggest some ways in which these could be overcome.
Yeah, sure. Very interesting. I mean, and I'll take the viewers also a little back in history. We were for that matter, everyone was an agrarian society, right? We started from Stone Age, and the human evolution, if you look at, and we talk a lot about Industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. At every stage of transition of the industry, moving from 1.0 to 2.0, the magnitude of change that has infused by the technology is extraordinary. And you could see the change that has happened over several years. That there were times when it was requiring a bigger change to use computerized lathe or grinding machines to convince a worker that how this job will be done by computer, and you will not be needed to do it. And there was this worry that if computer is going to do everything, what will I do, right? uh, and that apprehension has always been there, and that apprehension superpowers the whole smooth transition of any new technology coming in. The new technology, when it comes in, it will have a disruption, and this disruption is for good. I think, how do you message it to people that why is this disruption happening and how it's going to affect or benefit everyone? It will be very crucial. From an organization point of view, I think it's also equally important to understand: are you ready for AI adoption? It's not a fab word that because it's there in the market, because it's being spoken a lot, every organization need to adopt the AI or ML technologies, because you need to first understand what maturity of learning apparatus that you have currently with you, and whether that can succeed into the next phase. But assume that, hypothetically, that as an organization, we are at a level where we believe that now it's time for us to adopt new technology. I think the biggest element that will play a role is cost. Uh, every adoption of new technology has a cost involved into it. The number two is, the complexity of the work that is being done, because learning content for learning and development could be different for different skills for different industries. If I talk about a high tech industry versus a customer service versus probably hospitality, your content would be very different. And therefore, the technology infusion will depend on how complex your content is. What kind of content you are delivering? Are you delivering a soft content, or are you delivering a high technology content? So technological prowess, technological complexity will be the second element that you need to look at. The organizations will also have to be very mindful of how these newer technologies will smoothly integrate with their existing systems. Because today, most of the organizations have some or other technological platform they operate on, whether it's an HRMS or any other platform that they have. They have their own internal learning platforms, their learning engines. How newer technologies will seamlessly integrate with that will be critical to note. And I'm only focusing this piece on technology side. The last piece is, the artificial intelligence is an intelligence born out of human intelligence, right? Which
Yeah.
means that anything that you see on AI is database. Much more data you feed in, the efficiency or accuracy of your prediction, accuracy of your advice from the engine will be far better. And therefore, there is always a chance of a data bias. If your data is not clean, your input is not clean, your machine is going to throw an algorithm which is not going to help you. So very important piece is that you need to protect the biases in the data algorithm. On the software side, from a receiver point of view, I think I personally believe that the change management is going to be a big task. Uh, People who have been accustomed to a traditional learning methods, which is more comfortable, you're in a classroom with 20, 10, 20, 50 people, it's more casual, versus something that your ownership will be more, be mindful of the fact that when you deliver AI, ML, digital based learning platforms, the individual ownership of the learner, or probably the discipline, is very paramount. And therefore, bringing in that change in thought process of people, that it's not only a classroom training where the facilitator will come and deliver something and I'm done. Rather, the facilitator is there. It's up to you how much you grasp or don't, and that will drive learning for you. I think that's very important for organizations to look at. And second piece is the scalability. The technology that you're bringing in, how much scalable it is. You need to look at whether it will serve the purpose for me down the line, 3 years, 5 years. I'm not going beyond 5 years, because every 3, 5 years, the whole industry changes with newer technologies coming in. So even in a shorter horizon of 3 to 5 years, whether this particular infusion of a newer technology is going to serve my purpose long term. I think organizations need to be mindful of it, and these are probably the challenges that they may face, and the outcomes, or probably the solutions for it also equally same. Look at whether your cost structure allows you to invest into that kind of technology. Do you have plan
Yeah.
in place to manage a change that this technology is going to impact on people? Do you have strong data management apparatus that's going to infuse more and more accuracy of the output that's coming from the learning engine? So I think the problems, at the same time, the solutions are in the same thing. I think organizations need to evaluate it very carefully before they adopt the new technology. But that's probably long and short.
Yeah, thank you, Kalpak. I think understanding, while we are embracing AI, but understanding the risks, the limitation, ensuring those guardrails are in place is equally important. And
Correct.
I'll come to you with my next point. So while AI can actually automate certain aspects of skill enhancement, how will you ensure that that human angle is not lost, that human interaction remains integral to the learning process? So what do you think, would be the role that the human and AI is expected to play in this AI augmented environment?
So, Rashna, I'm so glad you asked that question. Very recently, I had published an article which says mastering the art of differentiation, right? And it was all about AI. I'll talk to you. I'll probably give a gist and take some snippets from there, right? So today we are standing in a brink of paradigm shift, which is actually redefining the machine capabilities and questioning our capabilities, right? We are at that level. Technology is at a place where I think it has potential to outperform humankind, maybe both physical and in the cognitive abilities, right? So I think the question which is posed to us as professionals when we use these technologies are, do you have that perseverance, or will you be overshadowed, right? That's basically where we stand today. And my answer to that is yes, we do have that perseverance, right? And there is something which is different in us, and that's what I had explained in my article, which says mastering the art of differentiating, right? What is that we have? There are three things which I look at. One is our ability to adapt, our ability to learn, and our unique ability to offer, right? I'm going to repeat this. Our ability to adapt, our ability to learn, our unique ability to offer what AI cannot do, right? And I think me and my organization strongly believe in these three things. And I think that a lot of people call, human in the loop and all of that. What we believe is AI is in the loop, and we value every human intervention, what we do for everything, right? There is a human intervention for every activity which is initiated by or we have AI in that. So that's how we look at this whole thing. And I'll give you a very interesting
Yeah.
example why I say that, right? So as part of one of the learning initiatives, of course, enablement of our employees in AI itself was one of our key things. Late last year, early this year, we rolled out multiple AI programs, AI 101, AI 201 for practitioners, and a lot of other master classes and all of that. So there was this. It's funny, but it's very deep, right? There was this lady who would reports, right? AI can produce 10,000 kind of cuts of reports. And then there was this lady who would refuse, who would always appear as not completed, right? So multiple times she came, we wrote emails, there was no response and nothing happened. So she's not doing the AI 101 courses and the 201 courses, which were assigned by our AI intuitive engine, right? Bases her skill gaps, but bases her proficiency, which is required for her current role, and basis what is required for his aspired role. After a couple of things, somebody from my team walked up to her and said, "Hey, what is happening, right? Why are you not doing it?" Her simple answer was, "In next 4 weeks, I am off for maternity leave." Right? I would think that it is more important for me to come back and do this course, not to do it right now, because whatever I do next 1 year, I am off, I'm completely forgotten. That is the context, right? So that is the
Yeah.
learning which we adapt to. That is the learning, that is the ability for us to learn, and the unique solution which we offer. It's not unique, it's a very simple solution which we said, absolutely fine. It makes all the more sense for you to come back and do it.
Right.
So we just kept quiet. We came back, we removed her from our tracking mechanism and said, hey, she's going through whatever it is, right? So while AI can give us
Yeah.
whatever reports, whatever contextualized, whatever we want, right? But it is important for us to have a human touch, right? Another example, we all roll out feedbacks in multiple formats, right? Emails, automated forms, but in my organization, it is mandatory, whether it is self-learning or classroom training. I ensure that either me or somebody from my team walk up to that group of people who are taking that learning. It could be self-learning as well, no problem, right? But walk up to them and ask them how the training is going on, right? While in the feedback form, they would have either given a 5 or a 2. But when you actually speak to them, you get to know what they have, why they feel what they feel. And it also gives an emotion of, yes, I'm heard, right? I am valued
Yes.
in this organization, right? And somebody is there to hear me. So I think learning and development, how much ever you have technology incorporate into it, learning and development still is a very human centric organization, right? And we do value human interventions in this.
Yeah.
And I think it is important also. I don't think that's an issue. I think that's a positive part of our organization. That's a positive part of our fraternity, because that actually builds a very trusted partnership. We become a trusted partner for them. We're not just an L&D organization, which is an enabling organization, but we are a trusted partner for them. They do feel that, yes, Lekha or somebody else is really bothered and concerned about my aspirations, my role progression, and leaders would feel that, yes, Lekha is equally part of my organization's goal, right? She's not just looking at push people into skilling. So I think that makes it absolutely unique to have a human intervention. So for us to have this, Rashna, I think as us as a fraternity, I think we should have emotional intelligence as a core competency, because
Absolutely.
that would
Yeah.
play a very crucial role for us to have that as a competency in this AI-led era.
Absolutely, Lekha. Couldn't agree more. Yeah. All right. I think my next question is around the stages of the learning cycle, right? And I'll come to you, Pradnya. So, in which stages of the learning cycle are AI-based tools utilized the most? So from curriculum design to assessment and feedback mechanisms, how do you think AI-driven solutions are optimizing these learning experiences for individuals? Oh, I don't see Pradnya. I think she's facing some network challenge. But um, maybe Kalpak, if you would like to share some of your thoughts here in terms of at what stages of the learning cycle do you feel AI-based tools are being utilized? And I'll just repeat myself from curriculum design to assessment and feedback mechanisms. How do you feel are AI-driven solutions optimizing the learning experiences for individuals and also for organizations?
Yeah, sure. I think if you look at the learning cycle, it actually starts from identifying the learning need, right? Um, it can play a very important role in mobilizing faster data gathering for your learning needs versus the traditional way of acquiring learning need. Um, do you want it to push it to Pradnya? Because
Oh,
otherwise I can
yes.
continue.
Pratnya is here.
I think
Yes.
Go ahead,
uh,
Pradnya. That was for you. I hijacked.
thanks, Rashna. Actually, I think I was in the backstage, but I was hearing the question. To your question, I think I will stay focused on the tech part because I think Kalpak and Lekha has covered it very beautifully. I think when it comes to learning, entire learning tech ecosystem is like, you have a skill ontology builder platforms, from where you kind of see the needs of the people. What are the skills which are needed? Then you have this entire world of like, LMS where the entire content creation, the way we manage the programs, the way the entire ecosystem of learning is done, is there. Then there was a word which came, which we were calling it as the learning experience platform world, wherein we said that the management is missing the experience part, hence get the experience right for the people. And now I see the world of like, the content partners who are actually playing the role of tech players, the AI or the tech part is kind of enabling in every function and every aspect of learning.
Yeah.
And I somewhere see that, it's a war between the content and the tech partner going on very strongly. So what happens to the organizations like us, because for us at the end of the day, the learner is at the center, so how do you enhance that learner experience, or how do we enhance that skilling part of learner becomes a very important step. So what we are doing is that right now, whichever AI is available in whichever format, keeping like, the learner at the center, which is right now, which is in the form of human at the center. We are trying to put the best of the best technologies. Say for example, curriculum design I spoke about, or like, delivery I spoke about. In simple words, if I have to say, like, from making to baking to taking, everywhere, like, how do you ensure that the right AI will be utilized? I think that's something which is kind of focused on. But at the same time, we should not get worried between the tech and the human war, I feel. We should try to integrate it in a very, very well mannered way. Say, for example, we were doing one of the programs at the Birla Group wherein we wanted to enhance XYZ skills of our people. And we kind of got the metaverse to do the feedback for certain set of employees. That feedback was doing a wonderful job, wherein suppose if I am speaking and it's like, say it is about, say for example, if it is about public speaking, if I am looking at left, right, the feed, like, the metaverse or the AI was giving the perfect feedback that, you need to look at left, need to look at right. And it was kind of creating that safe environment also. But at the same time, people were fearing, this is the tech. So you need a human element also to enhance that skill. So
Yeah.
amalgamating, like, or integrating the AI with the human aspect, I think that is the role. And again, I think I as a learning professional, I always have a question that content partners are coming with like such beautiful, AI systems, that should I go to those partners, or should I stay with the old school wherein we need to have a LMS to manage certain things, to put the data. So that question always remains. But as an organization, whatever is your need, I think we should go as per that. That's the take I have on your question, Rachna.
Thank you, Pradnya, for sharing those insights to this. I do have a question in chat that I just noticed, and I think it will be interesting to take this up. Kalpak, there is a question if you would like to answer that. So many AIs are flooding the market, it's become difficult to choose the right one. So, how do you choose the right one? Any insights that you would like to share, Kalpak?
Yeah, the simplest answer is choose the one that makes more sense to you. The long answer is look for what your organization is looking for, right? Uh, because I agree that there are so many products outside in the market, and they are so uniquely placed, and probably 80% of the time their product offerings are same. The differentiators are hardly 10-20%. You need to look at what technology base this particular product is built on, who's selling it, what companies in the market which is delivering that product, what's their credentials in the market, how many other similar organizations are using that product. Because what is most important is not the exact product, but somebody who can testify that yes, I have used this product and it worked fine for me. So you need to look at whether that particular product serves your purpose not only for today, but for coming years, for your future needs. Will it be scalable? Will it help you scale your needs and delivery needs? And if you're a global organization, if you're a bigger organization, or for that matter, you're an organization of multi-geography, you also need to be sensitive to the fact that whether this product will work equally across geographies where language changes, culture changes, delivery mechanism changes, the hybrid versus brick and mortar versus work at home complexity changes, whether this particular system is going to help me drive my delivery seamlessly. I think that's where you need to navigate and take a call what makes more sense for your organization. Of course, cost will be an important aspect which your finance team will take care. But I think these are some of the functional
Yeah.
aspect of any product that you should be looking at. That's my thought.
Yeah. Thank you, Kalpak. And I would just add a few more points to what Kalpak added. I know, Kalpak, you spoke about cost and scalability. I think I can also think of maybe the ease of integration, right? Because you already have some systems in place. How
Correct.
easily can you actually, plug this in your existing system so that, that doesn't become an overhead? Yeah, so probably some of those points. And then, of course, support and community, and maybe look at some use cases, maybe look at the vendor reputation. So those are some of the things which I feel should be some factors before you decide on the right vendor to choose. All right, so moving on, I have one more question here, which I would like to ask. Kalpak, maybe you can take a stab at this. This is around the measuring the impact of your AI programs, right? So how do you feel organizations can effectively measure the impact of these AI augmented learning initiatives on employee performance and overall business outcomes? Do you see any metrics or any key KPIs which are evolving with this paradigm shift? Or are we looking at the traditional metrics? Do they still make sense, or this is something that we need to relook at?
Yeah, sure. As I told earlier in probably the first question, that any technological influence drives a different fulcrum. Speed, one to many, and efficiency, right? Uh, so if you want to measure that, a year ago I was using a different method of delivering my learning needs to people, and today I'm using a different method with AI or ML, or your VR and AR technologies using it. First and foremost would be that how much is the adoption? How many people are using this new product that you have offered to people? So what is your adoption percentage? and that too in a faster span, a shorter span. How many people have adopted that particular product? Number two is your, and which I would call it a completion rate or whatever you might want to track as an organization, that we offered something, how many people in first 7 days have completed the course. First of all, that will tell you whether the product is interesting, interactive, people are enjoying it or not, and whether it's
Yeah.
not, because today's generation doesn't want too long program. They want shorter capsule modules that can deliver the snippets to them. Number two would be, which used to be a bigger challenge in the traditional learning delivery method, was time to proficiency. How much cycle
Right.
time of your proficiency this particular investment is cutting down. Because you're delivering faster, you're delivering smarter, you're delivering one to everybody, your time to proficiency should substantially cut down. Uh, Number three would be that, what kind of learning analytics you're getting out of the newer technology infusion, which will relate to my second part of the answer. That this is again the technology part. The second piece is, you you or any organization looks at delivering a learning or development program to achieve a certain outcomes, either achieving certain business value or certain principles or certain business outcomes. It could be generalized learning that you would want to deliver to people on a soft skill development, or it could be a very specific training delivery that could be addressed to a particular aspect of the business. Say example, and I am from a customer service, customer experience industry. The biggest piece for us is client NPS or customer satisfaction. And if I'm infusing a program to improve my customer satisfaction, that would become my first metric to see whether this particular new method of delivery has helped me improve my customer satisfaction level. Has it improved my interaction time with the customer? Uh, has the customer sentiment changed because my AI technology? And there are a ton of things that have come up today that could help in a customer service exec while he is or she is interacting with a customer, to prompt or give an idea to make the customer interaction more smooth, more enjoyable, and more fruitful. Are we getting that kind of feedback from customer? Uh, I think there is a good amount of closed looping on performance, because every training has to result into business KPI performance improvement. Are you seeing the change that you expect? And then is the feedback getting looped in to your training engine saying that this thing worked, this thing didn't work, or mixed feedback or whatever it is? Uh, how are your
Yeah.
people enjoying it? How our associates are enjoying that learning platform or the new technology or new delivery mechanism? Are they really excited about using it? And that will tell you adoption rate, but that will also tell you, do I like it, right? Do I need
Yeah.
more, and do I like it? Am I enjoying this particular learning program, or do I enjoying this capsule? I think these are some of the metrics that organizations can look at, whether the infused newer version of technologies into your learning design has helped, number one, achieve your business objective. Number two, has delivered your employee that satisfaction of learning that I wanted to have. And third point is, obviously, if you think everything is good, you will see better retention
Yeah.
of your people, because they'll enjoy and stay back with you. So that's what I think,
Yeah.
people
Thank
should
you.
look at as some of the metrics.
Thank you, Kalpaki. Very, very useful metrics, and some things that we are seeing a lot of organizations also embrace. You mentioned learning analytics, and of course, skill gain over time or overall skill gain does play a factor here. If you are able to maybe measure that somehow and remove the subjectivity out of it and have a very, very objective skill gain analysis done, it then helps you maybe put people with right skills on the right project, maybe even close some open positions, have employees support internal maybe mobility within the organization if you want to move people between departments. So skill gain and overall skill benchmark and assessments that I spoke about does play a major role here. Okay, I do have another question in the chat, and I thought, if any of you would like to take that up. This is about, the business asks how all of the money spent on AI is impacting the productivity of employees. So, do you have any thoughts or measures? And I know Kalpak, you just mentioned a couple of things which show business impact when you are incorporating those. But maybe Lekha, if you have anything else to add to what Kalpak mentioned and to answer this question, would love to hear your thoughts as well.
Sure, Rachna. Can you just state the question
And I
once
think
again?
this is something that all L&D, yeah, sure. This is something that I feel all L&D leaders face. The question is, the business asks how all of the money spent on AI is impacting the overall productivity of employees. So how can they show business impact is what the question is, I think.
Right. Thanks, Rachna. So I think Kalpak has pretty much covered what I would also like to articulate, but I think I'll probably give you some examples how we are doing it in Brilliant, so that kind of helps, right? So there is, of course, you have your generic L&D metrics in terms of what again Kalpak said, how many people completed, how much was the adoption, how fast, time to proficiency. All of those are your learning and development metrics, right? But what we are today able to also do and shift is to bring in the business metric as well, right? And call out very categorically saying, these are some of the needle movements which we have seen, right? And if I make so there are three lenses in which we look at when we talk about that. So the first one is the impact which we have created either on customer slash stakeholder experience, right? That's the first part of it. The second part is the productivity benefit. So there is, as every other organization, we also have a delivery excellence metrics. There's tons of parameters which are covered. So we do see needle movements over there. And the last one is financial benefit. So if I just go back
Yeah,
from a customer experience standpoint, Rachna, right? Today, are my employee capable of articulating the solution to let's say I'm again going back to the same example. We did this entire AI enablement program for last 6 8 months. We've been doing
yeah,
that, right? So the way we measure is from an experience stakeholder customer experiences, is my workforce, is my employee able to go and talk to the customer in terms of AI language? Point number one. Point number two, are they able to identify opportunities for their customers in AI for their end users, right? And how are they easing
right,
customers complex business problems using AI? How are they recommending? How are they putting their solutioning out there with that respect? So those are some of the things which we look at. And every time when we come out as a partner and when we do this advice or suggestions to the customer experience goes up, right? That's point number one. In terms of
yeah,
productivity benefits, we are looking, and it's a tracking, right? We are doing tracking of how many projects do actually use AI for our customers, right? In fact, the ask is 100%. All our projects should have AI elements for their customers. That's one element as a productivity metric. Productivity improvement. Um, pre-sales effort reduction, go to market time, right? All of those are part of my productivity metrics, which is maintained, tracked, and we keep seeing a needle movement. Last one is, of course, your financial benefits. So cost reduction is no doubt, there is a needle movement in terms of, in a positive way, where we are saying there is a cost reduction because of all these things which we have in place. Margin improvements. I'm not saying that we do see a very heavy revenue uptake, but there is potential call outs where we're
yeah,
saying that, these are areas where revenues are. So some of these are very glaring metrics which you can call out and speak to your business saying this is how we can and we will see the impact.
sure. Thank you, Lekha. And I know Jerry is back on screen just to keep us all on track. We do have a few minutes left, so I just want to, close this with one last question. As maybe a very short response, or a one-word or a two-word response, or even a sentence or two sentences response, what advice would you like to give to L&D leaders who are just beginning to explore the integration of AI into their L&D programs? And I do have a couple of questions in the chat along the same lines. People who are just starting out, they're looking at what should be what would that advice be? And they're waiting to hear from all of you who are doing this. What would that advice be from your side? And we'll open this up to all of you. Kalpak, if you would like to go first, please.
Sure. I think my advice would be, if your current engine and machine is working fine, think twice before you disturb it, right? Unless there is a need, and then the need has to come from scale, need has to come from speed, and need has to come from much, much, much substantially higher efficiency. So you need to be very mindful of, and I use these words, that know your basics right. If you're making a change, first you need to know why and when you're inclined to make a change. Choose the right product which serves your purpose. And number three is prepare your organization for that change. You can bring in new technology, you can infuse nice looking platforms, very nice navigation, the user experience is great, but is your team, are your people, is your leadership ready to accept that change? Work on these things. I think that's what will be important for you to think before you adopt a new technology. I think if there are, and I'm not saying that everything need to be changed, there are certain aspects of your learning delivery mechanism that must be working exceptionally well. Continue with them.
Yeah.
Look at where the problem is and see whether these technologies can help you eradicate those problems, and look forward to that would be my advice.
So take baby steps, right? Exactly. Yeah. Okay, Pradnya, happy to hear what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, to be very honest, I have a little radical thought to what Kalpak said, and I feel I agree that don't disturb the ecosystem. But I personally feel I think as an L&D professionals, we need to increase our appetite to take risk. Because if we don't go to AI is gonna come to us. Sometimes I joke around in my office and I say, there was a dinosaur era, then there came a human era, and dinosaur became extinct and human is going to get extinct by the AI. I think we have to increase the appetite of going towards AI should not come and kill us, but we should kind of amalgamate and be very stronger together. Like I see for the purely, if I have to talk for the L&D professionals, the line is completely blurring between the content partners and the tech partners. That doesn't mean you kill one and keep another one. But I will say
Yeah.
leverage the beauty of one another. That's the thing I want to say. Don't shy
Yeah.
away from shaking hands with AI. That's the
Yeah.
message I have to give it to L&D professionals.
Wonderful. So get the most out of AI to get the best out of humans, I guess. Yeah. All right, Lekha, over to you for your closing
Yeah,
remarks.
I'll probably take a segue from what both of them have said. So my first line, my first line is going to be, AI is an ally, not a threat, right? So that's going to be, I think that resonates with what Pragya said. But I completely agree with Kalpak as well, because trust me, when I started I'm still in exploring stages, right? I don't want to say that I'm an expert to advise, but my suggestion would be, and this is purely from experience, what 2 years ago when we started doing it, I mean, AI looked so tempted, right? I just wanted to do everything what we did using AI, right? It could be my metrics, it could be my data reporting, it could be my dashboard, everything I wanted AI to be doing it. And then when I sat down with some of my leaders, and that's when we realized that that's not the right thing to do. So completely agree with Kalpak on that piece. Have a clear understanding of what is your objective to do this. How is that objective aligned to your business goals and business, initiatives? And then if there is a requirement, do it. So I think that would be my suggestion. And the last piece I would say, AI is AI, right? It's a part of technology. We as fraternity should be able to humanize AI, right? If you just leave everything to AI, then I'm not sure what is going to happen, because I don't know,
Yeah.
right? But I think the human element is still very, very important when we
Yeah.
talk about AI. So consider AI as your ally. Use it in your ecosystem to enhance your efficiency, performance, whatever. But at the end of the day, I think you should still humanize it, wrap it, use all the AI technologies, but wrap it up with
Yeah.
human skills.
Thank you. Thank you, Lekha. Thank you so much. And I know we are right on time. I think 1 hour was not enough. We could have spoken for hours on this interesting topic. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Jerry, over to you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I think it is a really engaging conversation, and we had a great response in terms of the questions as well. And I think thank you also, Rachna, for taking up these questions in between. I think we were able to answer some of them. And I know for those of you whose questions were not answered, we will share these questions with the speakers. I know we're short of time, but thank you for joining us, and thank you to all of our speakers for such an engaging session. To our audience, do remember this is still day one of this series, and there is an exciting series of conversations that is still lined up. Right from a master class on building your future-ready learning roadmaps to a conversation on leading with a heart, which is on coaching, to an expert interview on the next era of workforce transformation. There's still a lot in store in this Building a Few First Skills First Organization Week. And we want to thank our speakers today, for taking the time and sharing their insights today. Thank you, Kalpak, Lekha, Rachna, and Pradnya for sharing those insights with us. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
organizing.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.